hot topic of the hour, the Trump administration is threatening to withhold federal funding from the Chicago Transit Authority if the city does not work to reduce crime on public transportation. The Federal Transit Administration sending a letter to Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, accusing Chicago of failing to protect workers and riders, pointing to last month's attack where a 26-year-old woman was set on fire on one of the train cars. The FTA writing this, quote, creating a safe, reliable transit system is the responsibility of leaders at every level. CTA, the city of Chicago, and the state of Illinois have failed to meet this obligation. Governor Pritzker responded with this. This is the federal government threatening state and local government with taking away federal money for a purpose that they're not allowed to. But we have seen this before from Donald Trump. Let's talk about it. Amber, your reaction.
Well, this is a policy choice. Violent attacks on transit systems in Chicago are up 6.6% over the past few years, and that's because they are not putting away people that are committing crimes repeatedly. This guy who set this woman on fire had 100 priors, and he was somehow not in prison and was free to do this. North Carolina responded to Irina Zarutska in a second stabbing by passing a law that ended cashless bail and decreased the conditions for pretrial detention. Chicago's done nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. I don't understand why these leaders do not want to just work with President Trump to actually create safety in the cities.
Yeah, because
it's all about get Trump, fight Trump. I mean, why not just think about the priorities of the people?
Yeah, exactly, especially your constituents who can't even ride in one of the, I mean, it was at Clark and Lake in downtown Chicago, which is a very popular, like I've ridden the public transportation systems there. It's unbelievable. And I don't know how they keep politicizing this, which is getting thrown back in their face because people want, one of the reasons why they elected Trump is because he's tough on crime. And so I just don't get Pritzker.
No,
he's trying to get reelected.
Pritzker doesn't like President Trump, and Pritzker wants to be able to show the far lefties that he's fighting Trump at all times.
And he wants 2028. You know, he's been rumored to, have presidential aspects, possibly. So if he can keep up the line, I think that's probably it.
I think Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy deserves a lot of credit, by the way, because not only is he trying to pull this federal funding from these transit systems that are not being kept safe by political leaders, he's also been going after the illegal aliens who have been getting the commercial driver's licenses, which have also resulted in the deaths of multiple Americans.
Yeah, and that's a really straightforward story. I mean, if you've got somebody who doesn't speak the language, doesn't speak English, doesn't understand English writing, how is that driver of a huge commercial truck, 18-wheeler in some cases, how are they going to read the signs and know what the traffic rules are?
It's unbelievable, and they repeatedly fail the test. They're given limitless opportunities to finally pass with a, 60%, which means they can only read 60% of the road signs that they are supposed to navigate while driving a massive death machine. It's outrageous.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that they have gotten away with pushing back so much on President Trump on simply following the law.
Yeah, and people are dying. I mean, that's the thing. U.S. citizens are dying at the hands of illegal immigrants who came into this country, and they're just getting free passes. It's Trump's fault. It's just unbelievable, the narrative that they're pushing. And, I think this administration is doing everything in the right way, and I think they're communicating it very well. This is one thing that they're succeeding on, that they're being tough on crime, that they're trying to implement these changes. So I think they're actually doing well in that regard.